Hello everyone. In our heat transfer lecture series, again we are going to study about the convection heat transfer. So here, a, in study of fundamentals of convection, in the third lectures we are going to see some fundamentals of the convection heat transfer. So here, velocity boundary layer. Velocity boundary layer, the region of the flow above the plate bounded by delta, in which the effect of the viscous shearing forces caused by the fluid viscosity are felt. The boundary layer thickness delta is typically defined as the distance y from the surface at which u is equal to 0.99 of the free stream velocity v. The hypothetical line of u is equal to 0.99 v divide the flow over a plate into two regions. Boundary layer region, the viscous effect and the velocity changes are significant. Irrotational flow region, the frictional effects are negligible and the velocity remains essentially constant. Now we'll see here in the figure we have given a plate. Over that plate the fluid is passing with a velocity, free stream velocity capital V. When this point of plate is called as leading edge and this point of plate is called as trailing edge. When fluid is passing over the plate, due to the viscosity effect, some of the fluid may always stick with the solid surface of the plate. Due to that, what will happen? There is no slip condition will be formed. Okay, that means one layer which is always in contact with the solid plate or the solid, when fluid is flowing, then that is called as no slip layer. Okay, due to that, what will happen? Due to this layer also applies some resistance to the adjacent layer of the fluid which is flowing over this plate. Then what will happen? Due to that, velocity will be decreased and some of the velocity will be get by this fluid. So similarly, one by one the fluid layers will be apply some resistance to the fluid flow over this plate. So that's why one of the point we are getting where the velocity into the fluid which is equal to 99% of the mainstream velocity. Such layers will be plotted over the plate and that layer or the fluid flowing into that layer are called as boundary layer. Okay. So velocity boundary layer means the velocity will be changed from a surface to the mainstream velocity. Why? If you see, we have already stated that this some of the fluid will be always stick in with the plate. So that's why there is no velocity of the fluid. This is always at a steady condition. Okay. So this fluid oppose the movement of adjacent layer. That's why this velocity of the adjacent layer will be increased or greater than the no slip layer. So simultaneously the next layer will be apply the resistance to the third layer, then obviously the velocity will be somewhat higher than the second layer. So just like that we will see from a surface, we will see here the velocity of the fluid is 0 and this is equal to at 99% of the mainstream velocity. That distance will be measured in the direction of y is called as a delta. This is called as boundary layer thickness. Okay. So if you have seen here, so here we have seen this boundary layer thickness where the fluid velocity is 99% of mainstream velocity. Okay. After that boundary layer, the velocity becomes a mainstream velocity. Okay. Now here, when fluid is in contact with the leading edge, the boundary layer formation region is called as a laminar boundary layer because in that the layers are moving in parallel conditions. But after that, some of the distance from the leading edge, so just we consider here x critical. At the x critical, this boundary layer will becomes laminar boundary layer converted into turbulent boundary layer. So some of the region where condition we are getting, some part of the fluid is laminar and some part will be turbulent layer. So that's why this region is considered as a transition region. That means the laminar boundary layer are going to convert it into turbulent boundary layer. So after that, if you see here, the all the molecules of the fluid are mixes with each other, and rotational flow will be occur. So that's why it is called as a turbulent boundary layer. In that turbulent boundary layer and laminar boundary layer, velocity distribution is same. Okay, so when when fluid will be flow over a solid surface, velocity boundary layer will be formed. Okay. Now this is wall shear stress. Shear stress means the friction force per unit area. The shear stress for most of the fluids is proportional to the velocity gradient, and the shear stress at the wall surface is expressed as, so here this is the formula to find out the shear stress. So tau of the wall, so wall will consider as a solid surface when fluid is in contact. So this is equal to dynamic viscosity multiplied with change in velocity with respect to change in distance in y direction. Okay, so here velocity gradient will be takes place in y direction. We have already seen in the boundary layer formation, velocity is changing in y direction only, not in x direction. Okay, so y direction will be changed. So from this we can find out the shear stress. So now mu is dynamic viscosity. It is measured in kg per meter second or newton second per meter square or pascal second. 1 poise equal to 0.1 pascal second. The fluids that obey the linear relationship above are called as Newtonian fluid. Okay, so this the fluid which find out the relationship that when the tau is directly proportional to velocity gradient, then it is called as a Newtonian fluid. The most common fluids such as water, air, gasoline, and oils are Newtonian fluids. Blood and liquid plastics are examples of non-Newtonian fluids. In this text, we consider Newtonian fluids only. So in this chapter, we are going to study about the Newtonian fluids only. Okay. Now see, this figure indicates the viscosity of liquids decreases and the viscosity of the gases increases with temperature. So here if you see in the graph, when viscosity compared with the temperature, graph temperature versus viscosity for the gases, the viscosity will be increased when temperature is going to increase, and for the liquids the viscosity is going to decrease when temperature is going to increase. Okay, so mainly velocity boundary layer concept is regarding the fluid mechanics. Okay, why we are going to study in the heat transfer subject? Because the convection heat transfer is mainly depend upon the fluid flowing over the solid surfaces, and convection heat transfer is take place when there is a significant velocity will be available over the solid surface. Okay, so that's why we need to study some basic fundamentals of the fluid mechanics. Now here the kinematic viscosity. Kinematic viscosity is the ratio of dynamic viscosity with the density of the fluid. It is measured in meters square per second or stroke. One stroke is equal to 1 centimeter square per second. This is equal to 0.001 meter square per second. The viscosity of fluid is a measure of its resistance to the deformation, and it is strong function of temperature. Okay. So it is viscosity is depend upon the temperature. If temperature increases for the liquids, the viscosity will be increased, and for the gases if you consider the gases, when temperature increases, viscosity also going to increase. Now wall shear stress. So tau W is equal to C of F rho V square by 2. Here C of F means friction coefficient or skin friction coefficient. This coefficient will be considered during the wall shear stresses. The friction force over the entire surface is F of F is equal to C of F multiplied with surface area AS multiplied with rho V square by 2. The friction coefficient is an important parameter. The friction coefficient is an important parameter in heat transfer studies since it is directly related to the heat transfer coefficient and the power requirements for the pump or fan. Okay, so that means for force. So this force is depend upon, this force will be, if you calculate it, then according to this force we can find out the force applied by the pump or fan. Now, so these are some values for dynamic viscosity of some fluids at 1 atmospheric pressure and 20 degrees Celsius temperature. Okay. Now about the thermal boundary layer. So thermal boundary layer, thermal boundary layer develops when a fluid at a specified temperature flows over a surface that is at a different temperature. Thermal boundary layer, the flow region over the surface in which the temperature variation in the direction normal to the surface is significant. The thickness of the thermal boundary layer, delta T, at any location along the surface is defined as the distance from the surface at which the temperature difference T minus Ts equals to 99% of T infinity minus Ts. Okay, so for that we will see the diagram. Again, similar with the velocity boundary layer, again we will consider in the, we have the solid plate is here. Over the solid plate, fluid is flowing for the convection heat transfer. Then what will happen? The fluid have a free temperature as a T infinity. Okay, and the surface temperature of the solid is considered as a Ts. Then what will happen? Obviously, due to the equilibrium condition, the fluid which is in contact with the solid have a same temperature of the solid. So that's why at this in the at the surface the fluid has the same temperature as the solid. Okay. Then due to the convection heat transfer, if you consider T infinity is higher than Ts, then what will happen? Due to the heat transfer takes place between the first layer and the second layer, the temperature will be somewhat higher. Okay. Or if we consider when fluid is flowing at a higher temperature over this uh, surface, solid surface, then obviously due to the heat transfer takes place, temperature will be decreased from a free stream velocity up to the surface temperature, because surface temperature, fluid temperature is always same at the surface due to the equilibrium condition. Then if you see the distance, where if you plotted that distance as daba T means where we will get the temperature of the fluid which is equal to surface temperature plus 99% of the temperature difference between mainstream temperature, main film's temperature and surface temperature. So that's why if you plotted the similar points from leading edge to the trailing edge over this solid surface, then this layer is called as thermal boundary layer. After the thermal boundary layer, the temperature of fluid as it is same of the T infinity. Okay, but inside of this one, the temperature is going to increase or decrease according to the condition. The thickness of the thermal boundary layer increases in the flow direction, since the effects of the heat transfer are felt at the greater distance from the surface further on stream. So if you consider about the again velocity boundary layer, the first in the velocity boundary layer we have seen here the at the leading edge there will be first part is the laminar boundary layer, after transition region, and then turbulent boundary layer. And we have already discussed that when velocity is going to increase, or the if you consider about the fluid flow, type of fluid flow as compared to the laminar fluid flow, in the turbulent fluid flow the heat transfer rate will be high. So that's why if you see at the leading edge the thickness of the boundary layer is small. When length of the plate will be increased, the thermal boundary layer thickness is going to increase. The shape of the temperature profile in the thermal boundary layer dictates the convection heat transfer between a solid surface and the fluid flowing over it. Okay. Now, again one of the dimensionless number we are going to study in the convection as the Prandtl number. The relative thickness of the velocity and thermal boundary layer is best described by the dimensionless parameter Prandtl number. So here in the heat transfer concept, the fluid mechanics concept, velocity boundary layer, and thermal boundary layer concept, both are considering at the same time. So that's why how to define. So this is defined by using a Prandtl number. So Prandtl number is equal to molecular diffusivity of momentum divided by molecular diffusivity of heat. That means this is related to the velocity boundary layer, and this is related to the thermal boundary layer. So this is equal to kinematic viscosity divided by the thermal diffusivity. So this is equal to mu Cp by K. So this is the Prandtl number is equal to mu Cp by K. Mu is the dynamic viscosity multiplied with specific heat of the fluid divided by the thermal conductivity of the fluid. Okay. The Prandtl number of gases are about 1, which indicates that both the momentum of heat dissipate through the fluid at about the same rate. Okay. Heat diffuses very quickly in liquid metals and very slowly in oils relative to the momentum. Okay. So obviously heat diffuses into liquid metals are very slowly because Prandtl number is very much less. So if you see here, molecular diffusivity will be higher as compared to the molecular diffusivity of heat. So that's why so here heat dissipation or heat diffuses very quickly, but the molecular diffusivity or momentum of the fluid will be less. But if you consider about the oils, the momentum of the oils will be less and the molecular diffusivity of heat considering the oil will be higher. So that's why Prandtl number will be increases or greater than 1. Consequently, the thermal boundary layer is much thicker for liquid metals and much thinner for oils relative to velocity boundary layer. Okay. So this is the concept. So this typical ranges of Prandtl number for common fluids. So liquid metals, the Prandtl number is 0.004 to 0.03. So Prandtl number will increases for gases and above the water, then it is increased up to the glycerin. So Prandtl number found out by the Ludwig Prandtl. So he was a German physicist famous for his work in aeronautics. Now next one is a laminar and turbulent flow. So in laminar and turbulent flow, we have already seen the what is the laminar flow in the types of the fluid flow. So laminar flow, smooth, streamlines and a highly ordered motion. Okay, when fluid is flowing, so in that the layers of the fluid are parallel with each other and moving, then that type of flow is considered as a laminar. And in turbulent fluid flow, the velocity fluctuations and highly disordered motion. Okay, so in that molecules or the layers of the fluids will be mixed each other during the motion. So this is called the turbulent. And transition, the flow fluctuates between the laminar and turbulent. Okay, that means there is a flow is converted from laminar to the turbulent. So that region is considered as a transition. Okay, so for that we have given an example of the dye injection into the fluid flow. So if you see in the laminar flow, what will happen? The dye trace is as a same one, but in turbulent flow, so when we dye injected into the fluid flow, then what will happen? Some zigzag motions will be formed, and that zigzag motion are due to the turbulent flow. Okay. If you see the again example of the candle, the smokes coming from the candle burning, some region will be as a laminar flow, and after that there will be turbulent flow into the gas or the smoke. Okay. Now the Reynolds number. So if you see about velocity boundary layer or the heat transfer rate again depend upon the velocity. So in that concept we have to find out the Reynolds number. Okay. So what is Reynolds number? The transition from laminar to turbulent, the flow depends on geometry, surface roughness, flow velocity, surface temperature and the type of fluid. The flow regimes depends mainly on the ratio of the inertia forces to the viscous force. So what is now Reynolds number? Reynolds number is defined as inertial force to the viscous force. So inertial force is average velocity of the fluid multiplied with diameter of pipe divided by kinematic viscosity, and this is found out by G. So this is equal to rho Vd by mu. So rho is density multiplied with average velocity, diameter divided by dynamic viscosity. Just we have substituted in this formula the value of kinematic viscosity in terms of dynamic velocity, viscosity and density. At the large Reynolds numbers, the inertial forces which are proportional to the fluid density and the square of the fluid velocity are large relative to the viscous forces, and thus the viscous forces cannot prevent the random and rapid fluctuation of the fluid, that means turbulence. So what we will consider, if inertia forces will be higher into the fluid flow, so this will be dominate the viscous forces of the fluid. So that's why the Reynolds number will be increased. If inertial forces will be higher, in that what will happen, the flow becomes a turbulent flow. Okay. At a small or moderate Reynolds number, the viscous forces are large enough to suppress this fluctuation and to keep the fluid in line. So that means if you consider about the oil flowing with over the solid surface, in that viscosity is so much higher. So viscosity force will be dominate the inertial forces. So that's why the flow becomes a laminar. Okay. So critical Reynolds number. So critical Reynolds number, it is denoted by Re critical. The Reynolds number at which the flow becomes a turbulent, that number is considered as a critical Reynolds number. The value of critical Reynolds numbers is different for different geometries and flow conditions. Okay. The Reynolds number can be viewed as the ratio of inertial forces to the viscous forces acting on the fluid element. So this is the formula we will get. The inertia forces, Reynolds number is the ratio of inertia forces to the viscous forces. So rho v square L square divided by rho v average into L. So if you simplification, you will get the Reynolds number v average into multiply with L divided by kinematic viscosity. So Reynolds number find out by a Reynolds, Osborne Reynolds, and Osborne Reynolds is an English engineer and physicist best known for his work in the field of hydraulics and hydrodynamics. So based on this, the name of the Osborne Reynolds will be indicate for the dimensionless number, the Reynolds number. Okay. Thank you.